Today's show is sponsored by the Electric Vehicle Association. Join up to support the electrification of transport today. And by this year's electric vehicle raffle for the planet from CCAN Action Fund. Buy your ticket today to support CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and a healthier environment and get 3 chances to win a brand new EV. And by Energy Sage. Time's running out in the US to get the benefit of federal tax incentives, so plan your energy independence today. Welcome back to another episode of TEN, Transport Evolved News. Thanks for joining me. The US White House has finally released the $5 billion in NEVI funding it had held hostage for more than 6 months because politics? Back in February, shortly after taking office, President Trump froze large portions of previously approved funding for green energy and transportation projects, attacking his predecessor and spreading misleading claims about EVs and clean energy. Many questioned at the time whether this was legal, and multiple states sued to get the funds released. This week, the US Department of Transportation finally freed the money, along with new guidance on how it should be spent. Requirements for consumer protections, emergency plans and environmental concerns are now gone, as are rules ensuring stations serve rural, underserved and disadvantaged areas. Maximum distance rules between stations have also been removed, meaning how appropriate the funded infrastructure is will very much depend on individual states. Sticking with US news, the Department of Energy has announced up to $1 billion in funding to advance domestic mining, processing and manufacturing technologies for critical minerals and materials. This funding includes $135 million for domestic rare earth supply chains, $50 million to accelerate refining of rare earth magnets and other metals, and $500 million for battery raw materials, mining, refining and recycling, some of which will support EV and semiconductor industries. It also sets aside $250 million for materials recovery at fossil fuel production facilities, including coal operations. While this administration hails it as a win for the US, it's worth noting that this $1 billion is far smaller than the roughly $35 billion earmarked under President Joe Biden for domestic supply chain development and EV production. We're heading north of the 49th parallel now to Canada, where the Canadian government has announced a new funding program for zero-emission vehicles. As confirmed on Wednesday, Natural Resources Canada has approved more than 25 million Canadian dollars in funding for 33 new projects aimed at improving EV charging availability, decarbonising freight transportation, and accelerating the adoption of medium and heavy-duty electric trucks. The funding is split between 9.7 million Canadian dollars to install 850 new EV chargers across Canada, 8 million Canadian dollars for the Energy Innovation Program for medium and heavy-duty trucks, and nearly $8 million for NRCan's Green Freight Program. Well done, Canada, and as someone who recently finally got her Canadian passport, all I can say is elbows up to the nonsense from south of the border. It's small, it's cute, and it's no longer sold new, but the Smart for 2 ED, unfortunate suffix and all, remains one of my favourite electric runabouts of the past 15 years. If you own a 451 series Smart ED3 built between 2012 and 2015, you might be frustrated to hear, though, that this week Mercedes-Benz confirmed it has run out of replacement battery packs. The packs used German-made Litech cells from a factory that Daimler bought outright in 2014 and shut down a year later, leaving only a limited stock. That's a problem because the ED3 has a known flaw. If the 12-volt battery pack fails, the main battery pack can drain beyond recovery. With no new packs available, these cheerful city cars risk the same fate as other orphaned EVs. The silver lining, though, is that a few independent repair specialists can still fix or rebuild your car's pack, but it'll be aftermarket and you might not have anyone who can help you nearby. Sticking with batteries, we learned this week that both BMW and GM may temporarily source Chinese-made packs for US-built EVs. According to the Wall Street Journal and Reuters, GM plans to import CATL-made lithium iron phosphate batteries from China for its soon-to-launch Chevrolet Bolt EV. While the long-term goal is to produce LFP cells domestically, this move would let GM start Bolt production before its US cell plant comes online. Similarly, Automotive News reported this week that BMW is weighing the import of Chinese-made cells for future US-built EVs. BMW's planned South Carolina battery plant, developed with partner AESC, recently saw construction halted, with AESC allegedly scrapping its US build in favour of making cells in China and then selling them to BMW. Neither automaker has confirmed these reports, but if true, it will be a blow to the idea of domestic EV battery production. Zero Motorcycles has been a leading name in the electric motorcycle world for more than a decade. While the brand has consistently pushed the envelope with rapid innovation, its bikes have always carried a hefty premium price. Late last year, Zero unveiled its X line of electric motorcycles and mopeds, aiming to provide a more cost-effective option for buyers. This week, the company celebrated the start of deliveries of the same, the first Zero models to be produced in China. Primarily designed as off-road machines for adventure and all-terrain riding, the new X line of bikes leans heavily into Zero's dirt bike heritage. Street legality will depend on where you live. In the US, they are sold strictly off-road, while in Europe, buyers will be able to register them for road use. With torque-focused gearing and a top speed of about 50 miles per hour or 80 kilometers per hour, though, these bikes are clearly built to ride hard off-road, not to handle the daily commute. As we previewed last week, Ford held a live-streamed event on Monday promoting its next Model T moment, the Ford Universal EV platform. The Louisville, Kentucky event revealed little about the first vehicle to be built on the platform, except state that it will be a mid-size pickup with a starting price of around $30,000 US, RAV4-like interior space, Mustang EcoBoost level performance, and a structural LFP battery pack. Thanks to significant weight savings in its design, Ford claims the truck will deliver roughly the same range as today's models while using a pack two-thirds the size of current vehicles. On the production side, Ford's Universal EV platform uses a new methodology with large single-cast components and parallel assembly lines that merge near the end. While Ford has portrayed this as revolutionary, Tesla, Rivian, and many Chinese automakers would disagree, as they have been using the same techniques for years. We can expect more details on the first model, the pickup truck, in coming months. Aided by an administration keen to roll back clean air and pro-EV policies, Daimler Truck, International Motors, PACCAR and the Volvo Group have sued California over its Clean Truck Partnership program. The companies argue the state lacks authority to enforce heavy-duty vehicle emission standards and says the Advanced Clean Trucks rule and other regulations harm their ability to design, develop, manufacture and sell trucks and engines. They're seeking a declaratory judgment against the governor and the California Air Resource Board, plus injunctive relief. The lawsuit follows a 2023 agreement between the truck companies and CARB, which President Trump has asked the FTC to investigate as anti-competitive. Now that's done, and before the suit took place, the Justice Department wrote to the companies to tell them to stop complying with California's rules, claiming they conflicted with federal law. Whether pressured to sue or not, the result is the same: fewer electric trucks, which is exactly what the US government wants. Adding to the pushback on EVs, German business newspaper Handelsblatt published an interview this week with Mercedes-Benz's CEO, Ola Källenius, as he seems less convinced about EVs than before. Warning that the EU's planned ban on new internal combustion engine vehicles in 10 years could implode the auto industry, Källenius argued that ICE still needs to exist for the transition to work. He called for a reality check, acknowledging the need to decarbonize the auto industry, but insisting it must be done in a technology-neutral way. Mercedes-Benz has recently signalled a step back from EVs, ending US sales of EQE and EQS-based vehicles, and has cited Trump-era tariffs and the end of EV incentives as the reason. While the company may still plan future EV models, the message is clear. It and other automakers are again trying to prolong the life of polluting vehicles, leaving the consequences for everyone else to deal with. I hate being right. When fossil fuel giant Shell acquired the ad-supported charging network Volta a few years back, all of us at this channel sounded the alarm. Volta stood out from most charging networks by installing level 2 stations at easily accessible public locations and offsetting costs with electronic advertising billboards. This model gave EV owners heavily discounted or even free charging, making it especially popular with drivers without off-street parking. Volta also tended to install more stations in historically underserved neighbourhoods, improving access to EV infrastructure for everyone. But after a few years of rebranding these stations under the Shell name, the oil giant has announced, surprise, surprise, it will remove those level 2 Volta chargers. Over the next 4 months, more than 2,000 stations will be taken offline across the US, replaced with high-speed chargers at Shell gas stations. Like I said, I hate being right. I told you so. I'll have more stories in a moment, but first, some massive news from our friends at CCAN Action Fund. Remember the EV raffle for the planet that we've been sharing on this show for the past few weeks? Well, we've heard that they've severely undersold. With 17 days left until the drawing, they still have more than 4,500 tickets available. Fewer tickets sold means fewer tickets in the drawing, making your odds of winning a Rivian or Lucid or Porsche EV even better. Each ticket gets you not 1, not 2, but 3 chances to win a brand new electric car. Prizes range from the Lucid Gravity to a Rivian R1S or R1T to a Porsche Macan EV and a Volkswagen ID Buzz, and many more. Tickets are just $200 and support the CCAN Action Fund's mission to fight for a cleaner air and a healthier environment. If you haven't bought a ticket yet, what are you waiting for? If you already have, well, why not pick up another one and increase your odds? Your time is running out, so go to www.evraffle.org to get your ticket today. That's evraffle.org, or check the show notes or the on-screen QR code right here. We're off to recall reminders now, and as always, you'll find show notes with further details on our website, transportevolved.com. We've actually got just one recall this week, the Mercedes-Benz EQB, which has been recalled to address an improperly secured high-voltage bus bar. If the screws securing it fail, it can lead to a sudden loss of power. 660 examples are included in the recall. And that's your solitary recall reminder. Now off to our news shorts and the show notes on our website, link to all of the stories we're covering. After struggling with lackluster sales in Europe and the US, VinFast is reportedly shifting its focus to other markets, targeting the Middle East, Africa and South Asia. It suffered significant losses last quarter. California's EV HOV lane access decal program is ending next month. The program currently allows EVs to use the HOV lane with only one occupant, but with federal support withdrawn, it is now coming to an end. Nissan has revised its Ariya SUV pricing in the UK. Its entry-level model now costs less, with an on-the-road price of £33,500, including £1,500 of incentives. The MG4, which got its refresh reveal last week in China, has been given a clearance for sale in China, complete with a semi-solid state battery pack. It's the first EV with such a pack to be approved for sale. The Dutch ambitious air mobility group is in the process of trying to acquire the remaining assets of eVTOL firm Lilium out of bankruptcy. Reports suggest it wants to offer just €20 million. The UK government has published the first list of vehicles that qualify for its brand new electric car grant programme. Right now, only 17 Citroën, Renault, Nissan and Vauxhall models are eligible. Hyundai's Chinese partner, Beijing Hyundai, has released updated details and improved specs for the car previously known as the Hyundai Elexio. Now renamed the Hyundai EO, it is set to launch in China in September. Mining company Glencore has officially acquired battery recycling specialist Li-Cycle. The deal was closed this week for an undisclosed amount, with Li-Cycle to become Glencore Battery Recycling. The Republic of Slovenia has launched a new subsidy program to support the purchase of EVs, offering up to €7,200 per vehicle. The program covers 2-, 3- and 4-wheeled vehicles. The Canadian city of Calgary has announced a major expansion of its public transit fleet. It's ordered 120 new electric buses from Canadian manufacturer Novabus. They are expected to enter service in 2027. Last week, I noted that UK EV sales slowed in July as expected, but new figures this week show that electric van sales actually rose 72.6% year over year, marking the 8th straight months of growth. BYD's performance brand, Yangwang, is preparing a new U9 hypercar that boosts power from 960 kilowatts from the current model to 2,250 kilowatts at the wheels. Finnish charging company Kempower has become the first charging station manufacturer to approve Formula Space's forensic marker anti-theft system for charging cables designed to deter cable theft. Chinese battery specialist CATL has been temporarily banned from operating its lithium mine in the Jiangxi province in the next 3 months after failing to secure approval to renew its mining licenses. Renault is rumoured to be working with Chinese auto giant Geely on building a new EV on its GEA platform. Renault has a long-standing relationship with Volvo, which of course is owned by Geely. Fraunhofer IOSB in Karlsruhe, Germany, has developed an AI-driven routing system that predicts shared and public transport availability, helping people plan journeys and encouraging them to leave their personal cars at home. RV company Lightship has officially started production of its AE.1 Cosmos Edition at its facility in Broomfield, Colorado. This all-electric RV features its own built-in drivetrain, which improves towing economy. Volkswagen has announced pricing adjustments for its 2026 model years in Europe. While its internal combustion vehicles will become more expensive, its EV pricing remains the same as 2025. Despite its challenges in Europe, VinFast has partnered with Plugsurfing in Europe to give customers easy access to more than 1 million charging points across the region. It replaces the now discontinued service from Bosch. Serbia has paused its EV incentive programme after its planned €1.5 million funding pot ran out. The country plans to continue the programme as quickly as new funds can be approved and allocated. Authorities in Norway have approved the Auto-Retur battery recycling programme as the nation's first official specialist for iEnergy EV battery packs. It will begin operations on November 1st, which happens to be my birthday. New York company Revel has announced that it's ending its electric rideshare program and will instead focus on expanding itself as an EV charging network. It currently operates 100 stalls. General Motors is now working on rehiring some of the employees it laid off from its now shuttered subsidiary Cruise to develop new autonomous vehicle capabilities for future models. Acura has revealed its new RSX prototype EV. It's a crossover SUV and will be the first RSX variant to be built as an EV and will be made in Ohio on the same production line where the fabled Acura Integra was once made. Figures from Europe show that Hyundai's Inster EV is now one of the continent's best-selling cars. In the first half of the year, it became Germany's best-selling small EV with 6,300 sales. Motor Trend is reporting that the Chevrolet Camaro is about to make a comeback as an all-electric hot model. It will be built on the same versatile platform as some of GM's other performance models. Croatia has just announced a new incentive program designed to encourage people to get behind the wheel of an EV. It will make €21.2 million available in subsidies. Automotive News claims Lucid only sold 9 Gravity SUVs through the end of June, but the company disputes that, claiming that the real number is in the 3-digit range. We'll know when official figures are released for the next quarterly report. July sales figures from China show new energy vehicles, that's EVs and plug-in hybrids, grew 27% year over year to 1.262 million. EV sales rose while PHEV sales fell. Xiaomi's CEO advised buyers of its popular YU7 SUV to consider rival models if they need a car quickly, as demand is outstripping production. The model received 240,000 orders in just 18 hours. Rivian is on the lookout for a new engineering team to help it develop a new steer-by-wire system for future cars. The job listings for the roles specifically mention rear-wheel steer-by-wire. Lucid Motors has announced a partnership with multiple US mining companies to help accelerate and secure its domestic raw minerals it needs for both its vehicle battery packs and motor construction. Researchers at the Helmholtz Center in Berlin are studying lithium-sulfur battery cell failures to help design more robust chemistries. These batteries promise significant energy density gains over current technology. Cadillac has revealed its latest concept car in the form of the Elevated Velocity crossover. A massive beast with high ground clearance, massive wheels and gull-wing doors. It's an interesting design. Honda Australia's CEO, Jay Joseph, said this week that EVs are not the goal of carbon neutrality. They're just one of many pathways. He emphasised that Honda is focused on carbon neutrality rather than EVs. A new battery swap cooperation between Bosch and Mitsubishi, initially targeting the Chinese market, has been greenlit by the European Commission. Its permission was needed as Bosch is a German firm. Apple is about to roll out a new feature in some markets that will allow customers to initiate charging sessions directly from Apple Maps. It will initially be available in select European countries. Pacific Gas and Electric, Fremont Unified School District and the Mobility House have launched a new V2G electric school bus fleet in California. It includes 14 buses and 22 bidirectional charging stations. And finally, for the news shorts, Indian electric motorcycle startup Ultraviolette has just closed a new round of funding worth $21 million. It will utilize the funds to accelerate R&D and global sales pushes. And those are your news shorts. There will be more next week. Our final two stories are coming up next, but first, a quick word from one of today's sponsors, EnergySage, who can help those of you in the US green your heating and energy. EnergySage connects you with local verified solar installers across the US and now heat pump specialists in select markets who really know their stuff and can help guide you through the process of installing solar panels or getting a heat pump installed. Not a homeowner? No worries. EnergySage can still help you green your electricity by helping you join a community solar program. We used EnergySage ourselves when we were looking for installers willing to help us put solar panels on the roof of our home, and their verified pros were knowledgeable and even introduced us to an amazing credit union that allowed us to finance the project with low monthly payments. As I'm sure many of you know, HR1 is now US law and all incentives for solar, including savings of as much as 30% through the federal tax credit program, will disappear soon. Unfortunately, solar projects take time, so if you want to lock in those savings, it's important to act immediately because time is very much running out. Follow the links below to sign up for either of EnergySage's free, no-obligation services and get the ball rolling today. And if you choose an EnergySage installer for your project, we will also receive a small referral fee, so you'll be helping us too. Help the grid get greener, save money, and gain energy independence while supporting the show? It's a win-win-win-win. And now it's time for those last two stories. The EV world seems awash with range record attempts. First Lucid, then Chevrolet, and now Polestar, each trying to see how far a single charge can really take them. This week, a Polestar 3, driven by hypermiling experts Sam Clark, Kevin Booker, and Richard Parker, covered 581.3 miles, which is 925.4 kilometers on a single charge in a stock Polestar 3 long-range single rear motor. The nearly 23-hour journey on public roads in and around my home county of Norfolk, UK, because Norfolk's kind of flat, unless you're going up Gas Hill, averaged about 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers per hour for the entire run. While it's fantastic to see people pushing the boundaries of electric mobility, as I noted in last week's show, this is very much an extreme case rather than something everyday drivers can expect. And yes, I'm still planning my video on that topic because while it's a nerdy thrill to get those kind of achievement, and well done guys, by the way, I'm not convinced the general public always understands that fact. And finally, we have a bit of an ongoing joke at this channel about being the kiss of death for companies. In our time covering cleaner, greener vehicles, I think we featured 3 or maybe 4 companies who shortly after we went and filmed them declared bankruptcy. One of our most recent victims was German solar car company Sono Motors. Shortly after bringing its solar electric car prototype to the US for a tour, the company entered insolvency. And while it has now been reborn as Sono Solar, ditching plans to make its own EV, it's not the first time we've had that unfortunate timing. Sono's restructuring left many supporters out in the cold, but for those still dreaming of a Sono Sion, there's a chance to bid for one because the company's former automotive assets are now being auctioned online until September 9th. 10 Sion prototypes are up for grabs, with the most functional starting at €600. It would certainly be a different vehicle to drive, and you'd be on your own for licensing, servicing and everything else, but I don't know, how about it? And on that note, we are done for today's show. Before I go, a massive thank you to the Electric Vehicle Association for sponsoring today's show. The EVA has been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and remains firmly committed to a cleaner, greener future for everyone. Join the EVA today to find out how to become an EV educator, meet like-minded fans, get help making your own transition to electric. That help also includes a low-interest loan program to help finance your next step. So find out more at myeva.org. Also, thanks go to CCAN Action Fund. Buy your tickets today at evraffle.org and be quick because time is running out and there are just 4,500 tickets left. And thanks to Energy Sage. Follow the link below to plan your own energy-independent future before those tax credits vanish in not so long a time. If you'd like to support the channel, you can do so for just $1.50 a month on Patreon. And if you can, we would really appreciate it. YouTube is now a cesspool of AI nonsense and trolls and has yet again reduced creator ad payout. And while we would love to host elsewhere, there's not really a good alternative right now. And no, unfortunately, Nebula is invite only. So right now, Patreon really is our only reliable form of income. And if just 400 of the 152,000 subscribers who have yet signed up to Patreon did so and committed to giving the equivalent of a fancy coffee just every month, it would frankly put us in a much better financial position. Right now, we are surviving on the occasional generous stipend from one of our very generous supporters. You know who you are. Thank you. But I'm not going to lie. The lack of YouTube ad revenue has led to many a sleepless night. Our team does deserve normal things after all, like healthcare and a living wage. I should also note that we're also available for third-party video production work in the Portland, Oregon area. So if you have a business or a project you'd like us to work with you on, reach out. You'll also find merch store at our swag store, and the Amazon affiliate links are in the video description if you need to use the altar of Jeff Bezos and you would like to support us rather than give money to him. We publish every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday on this channel, and every Sunday we drop 2 videos on Transport Evolved Take 2, which is our more informal behind-the-scenes channel. And in closing, some important messages. First, you are valid, you are loved, you belong, no matter what hateful sods try to tell you. Right now, especially in the US, but also in the UK and other places, division and hate aren't just tolerated, they are encouraged by those in power. People driven by a lust for cruelty. And in this particular time, kindness and empathy becomes acts of radical resistance. Empathy is not weakness. It's a skill we must nurture and regularly practice to hold on to our shared humanity. I have no words for the true horror of the current news cycle, especially if you are in a minority group. And if you've needed to turn off the news or take a rest and step back from the outside world, I want you to know that that is okay. It is important to take care of yourself so that when you're feeling better, you can come back stronger than before to stand up for decency, community and justice. Don't let the you-know-whats win. Especially that woman JK trolling. But because it's my show and I can do things like this, I also want to add 2 very special messages just to this week's show. First, happy anniversary to my wonderful wife, Kate, aka Amerikate, a different Kate to the one that I am on camera with. Friday marked 16 years since we officially said I do. and drove off into the sunset in a very super rare 1980s all-electric Volkswagen City Stromer. We have been a couple for far longer, 22 years by my count, but it's good to be official. Second, our love from the entire team goes to Tom and Peggy, some of our amazing Patreon supporters who are not only celebrating their 44th anniversary, but they're also celebrating some very good health-related news this week. So thank you both for your ongoing support and awesomeness. Finally, wherever you are, whoever you love, you are not alone. Be an ally, be kind, be the positive change you want to see in the world, and please, for the sake of everyone's future, don't let hate or ignorance win. As always, keep evolving.